to give my talk. And to all the fathers, I wish you a happy Father's Day, as I do myself. And I'd like to basically address this love of my life, my little boy, Isaiah, who's 4 years old. And at the time, he was one of the few poster kids who were selected during that particular period. It's basically a fundraising activity that Special Needs Crusade has every year at the Portola Plaza Hotel in Monterey. About a week after that event and that wonderful poster, Isaiah and I went to Home Depot in Salinas. And what I did was I set him in a shopping cart, and he was waiting as I was returning an item, a household item. And what he normally does is he perseverates, or basically goes back and forth rhythmically, and he would mutter, Well, at about that time, there were these two little girls that came across about an aisle away at Home Depot, and they were romping around, and then they took a look at us, and then they started giggling, and then laughing hysterically. And I took that rather negatively. And I thought, okay, their parents are going to come, and they're going to kind of help out the situation. Well, the mom eventually showed up a couple seconds later behind them. She looked at them, and then wondering, what is all this ruckus about? And then they looked at us, my son and myself, and then she paused. And then she said, basically reacting to my, what are you guys doing here attitude, she started laughing hysterically herself. And in all too familiar circumstance that I learned to adapt to, I realized that to take them on would be like taking on the world, the normal world. The normal world is not very kind. It's a very cold and cruel place to special needs kids like my son, who is on the severe end of autism. My son lived in our household for the first 11 years of his life. And the best way to describe what it was, how people would react to him and his behavior, is best illustrated in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You know the line, all of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph or Zayers join in any reindeer games. And where I really felt that was, we have a community pool where I live. And it's a great melange of family who come together, especially during the summertime. And my son and I would sit in the hot tub typically, and as he was growing up. And basically little kids, you know, they can be kind of mean because they just don't know. But they would say things like, you look stupid. What's wrong with you? What are you, a jerk? And I would just sit there kind of like this, and hoping for the best. But their parents were not that much better. What they would do is, and basically shun us from their family or from any activities. Probably the most isolating and one of the worst experiences that we would have, it would be during the holidays. Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. Isaiah and I would basically be driving down Highway 1 down Big Sur, very quiet, simply because everybody was enjoying their festivals at their homes, whereas Isaiah and I would be basically enjoying ourselves going up and down the highway. And Isaiah had no clue, which was a blessing in disguise. I was the one who was taking it on. Well, at the age of 11, for Isaiah, my wife Stacy and I decided that we had to let him go. His aggressions and his growth spurts started getting to the point where we really couldn't handle him. His aggressions consisted of biting, scratching, and self-injurious behaviors, they call it, or SIBs, where he would bang his head and sometimes even put his head through a wall, making divots in the wall. So we couldn't handle that anymore, and so we really looked for professional help to be able to take care of our son. We love him, and I love him to death, but we realized we just couldn't handle him. And we had to go through a lot of shame and a lot of emotional upheaval to basically relocate it somewhere nearby where at least we could visit it. So on that fateful day, September 12th, 2016, we saw Isaiah take his last bus ride from our house to school, never to come back to our house again. Looking back through this entire time period, I realized that it wasn't the world that needed to be educated so much as I needed to be educated in the world. I needed to be the one to mature, because you know what? The world is going to be who it is. And so through friends, either through church or special needs groups or special needs friends, Isaiah's school, the teachers were a wonderful resource. I learned to be a lot more compassionate toward people. So rather than confronting people and shaming people, I decided that I needed to be more understanding and to educate people. And kids are great tools for that. They absorb and they understand very quickly. So what I want is to have my son basically live the best life that he possibly can. And I love the poster here, Reaching for the Stars, because that is my dream. That is my hope for my son. And I know that with all the support that we have, we will accomplish that in his life. Thank you.
Well, I was too busy trying to figure out who wrote the Pina Colada song to listen to actually ruin the speech. But I definitely agree with him when he says, in quotes, normal world, and that's definitely should be put in quotes. Anyone talking about the normal world, that's a great addition. His vocal variety was excellent for a neophyte. That's very good. And his talk about Isaiah and the Home Depot was very good, and I understood exactly what he was saying. It's too bad that schools and parents somehow drop the ball when they're talking about autism. I think it's mandatory. They should teach, they should give a speech or some sort of class on autism in every school. And I liked the saying, reaching for the stars. That was also a very good thing. And I'm going to read from the evaluation form. It said that audience awareness was very good. Comfort level was very good. He spoke to the left, to the right of the lectern, and that was very good. He seems very, very comfortable speaking up there, and his clarity was very good. His eye contact was pretty good, and that's really all I want to say. Also, one thing that he did add on his little handout, which I really evaluate, is that I didn't know that 1 in 151 girls have autism and 1 in 37 boys have autism. And I just thought it was autism. I didn't know it was autism spectrum disorder. And so I learned a lot. Even I learned about the anxiety. I learned about the rocking. I've seen the rocking back and forth. And a lot of people are strangely unknowing about that. And sad. But it was very good. Thank you.
Thank you.